How did I go from public accounting and auditing to media and technology and this whole new life that I live? Well, we're gonna talk about that in this video and tips on changing careers. Whew. All right, greetings loved ones. It is Kudzi. It has been a while. I've not posted in a very long time, but I feel like I now have the intention clarified for this channel. So my intention is to be a positive, motivating force for young people with aspirations for, professional ambitions, but also creativity in their lives, and really be a conduit for that, because that is the content that I love to watch. So I want to spread more joy and positivity and really get people thinking about action. So when I think about my life, I always think about own your story and then take action. Those are like my two things, and that's kind of the framework. You'll hear me say it so many times on this channel, but that's what I care about. So let's get started with this video. For this video in particular, I will give you a bit of a journey into how I transition careers, and at the end of the video, I will leave some tips on how I would think about changing careers. If that is something that's on your mind, because sometimes in life, we are, living and doing things, and maybe you are done with that, and maybe it's time for something new and fresh. So that's what we're going to talk about in this video. So make sure to leave any comments down below about any career transitions that you are thinking of or that you've made, or if anything just resonates with me. I hope we really get to build a community of people that inspire each other and are trying to take it to the top. I got my coffee, I got my candle. Y'all know I love candles. This is Patty Wax, Amber and Smoke. I have an account called Sir Candleman on the internet everywhere where I talk about candles, so I'll link it down below. Actually, I'll link my favorite candle in every channel that I'm burning in the background. It's like very cozy given these times that we're in of Corona. So let's get started. So I need to tell you a story. So it's all about where did I start and how did this journey even come to be. So I was born in Zimbabwe. A lot of people don't know that because my family moved to South Africa, and and I say going home, that's where I go because that's where my family is. But I was born in Zimbabwe and South Africa, and I think I had a great life. Oh my God, because very family oriented, very joyful, just like connected. But at the same time, and I think a lot of you can, understand this, like it's very clear societal and cultural norms, particularly when it comes to professions. And I grew up in a world where, you want to be a doctor, an accountant, a lawyer, or an engineer, which are all like phenomenal jobs. I mean, I ended up being an accountant myself, but the tracks are pretty clear. It's almost like that was the only way to success. And I mentioned this in my previous video called Life Advice for Young Black People, or just life advice to anyone, but you can link that down below. But at the same time, and I think that's great because that's what I did and I actually learned so much, I also know you can also want to be something else, like I feel like we all have that feeling of like, there's other things that I want to do, but I'm kind of holding myself back because of what the world around me is telling me is good. And I don't think people always telling you things are good because they're trying to hold you back, but it's because it's true and it's what they believe. But I've always wanted to work in entertainment, but I always knew you needed to live in a land of opportunity. Who remembers Sister Act 2? I think she's walking down the street with Lauryn Hill, one of the nuns, and Lauren wanted to be a singer, and then Lauryn Hill's character wanted to be a singer. Someone said, just go for it, girl, just go for it. And Lauryn Hill's character is like, I'm not exactly living in the land of opportunity. And I've always remembered that since I was young, about like, I'm not living in the land of opportunity for the opportunity that I want, or the life that I want, which is to work in entertainment, which is what I've always felt in my heart and soul. The neighbors are vacuuming. How are you vacuuming outside your apartment? Just gonna wait out the noise, y'all. Okay, and we're back. Excuse that. So I started on that journey of accounting because I was actually good at math. And what happened, if I'm being really honest, is that because I was like kind of good at math, accounting and numbers, I kind of got validation for that. And people were like, you're so smart, you're so good at this. And like that validation made me, do it more, because I think when you get feedback about a thing that you're good at, positive feedback, you want more of that because it feels good. So it's weird because I wanted this one thing, but I was doing this thing that I was good at. And because I was good at it, people told me I was good. So I love that feeling. So I was like, let me just keep going down this path. But at the same time, in the back of my mind, I'm like, but I want something else. It just leaves you in this like weird state. Then I finished high school. I ended up going to the University of Cape Town, which is phenomenal. And while there, I was actually given an out. And I remember it to this day. And this is important because sometimes things show up in your life that are there to like try to shift the trajectory, and you can either take it or you can miss it, right? You gotta own your story and take action. That time I was not owning my story and I was not taking action. It was the second year of university, what we call university over there, or varsity as they call it in Cape Town. We are choosing now whether you're gonna specialize in a track or not. So am I gonna stick with accounting, or am I going to go general business and maybe end up in like management consulting or something else? And I was really scared scared because it was so easy. All I had to do was pick something else and I would have been fine, or I think I would have been fine. But I was scared that people would judge me for not following this path of accounting, which, you know, is highly esteemed and everyone thinks you're on the right track for. And I still remember to this day checking that box, but feeling like I betrayed myself a little bit. And I've always made a mental note of when I get those opportunities, you better grab it and run, baby. You better grab it and you better run because this is your time. And I didn't take it, and I learned my lesson there. So then I ended up graduating, starting my career in accounting, getting my actual certification. I'm a chartered accountant, an actual registered one, and that was great. I learned a lot. I built the basis of professionalism and analytical skills and understanding data, which is critical in this day and time. You need to know how to read the numbers, guys. And then I went to San Francisco for work, so I got to travel the world. It was actually really beautiful. I lived a beautiful life, but I was really not happy. And I know that feeling of just waking up every day being like, girl, what is going on? Like, you feel so sad. You're doing well, you're getting a good income and a good job, but like, you're not happy. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? And I speak about this in my previous video, but I then decided to get an MBA, and I'll do a whole video on should you get an MBA, because I get that question every other day in my LinkedIn. If you want that video, comment down below about whether I should do a video about getting an MBA. I have a lot of thoughts and feelings about that one. So while in San Francisco, I met a friend of mine who, you know, was at Stanford, which is the school I ended up going to get my MBA. But after that moment, I realized Stanford could be an opportunity to pivot, or I have to pick something else, but I want to work in entertainment, so I need to immerse myself in all the various paths that could get me there. And for me, that was reading up on every way to crack into entertainment, starting to network with people that work in entertainment, and also really trying to figure out what is the right entry point, you know, for someone with my skill set. Is it a lateral move to an entertainment company doing accounting, or is it a full pivot? And I'll get into the tips in a little bit, but it's really important to start to chart out the course of where you want to go, because if you keep it in your mind, this is what happens. You go into a cycle of wanting this thing but feeling like you're never gonna get it, or like feeling sad, and then you're just like stuck in your mind. Write it down, figure out all the different options, and then, you know, again, that's owning your story, and then start taking action. So the action that I decided was that I was going to go to business school, so I ended up applying, and thank you Jesus, we got in. And you know, I did my internship at entertainment companies, and then finally landed in technology and entertainment, where I am today. But when I look back, because it seems like an easy story, I think there's very specific tips and things that you need to do in order to kind of make the switch of the life that you want to live. You don't want to be the person that lives a life that you didn't want for yourself. And like, I understand that we all don't have the privilege of just changing our lives because we're born into certain circumstances, or the world around us, or the responsibilities that we have, financial challenges, or just not having the ability to do some things. But a lot of people do have the opportunity, but they are stuck in their mind. So these are my tips on how to think about pivots and really taking your life to a place that you want to live. And I'm not saying I'm done with my life. There's actually a lot that I want to do, and we can chat about that more on this channel. But these are the tips, and I think it's a few, it's like 5 or 4. We'll see. Number 1 is that you need a vision. You need a vision, and I think I've said this in so many videos before, but you need to know what you want. Even if that might change, the vision is the thing that pulls you through, so you need to write it down. So for me, it was to work in entertainment focused on online video and talent, because that is what I love, that is what I care about, that is what brings me joy. I watch millions of stretch, I'm about to stretch. I watch hundreds, I would say, videos per day. Like, I'm very much in it to win it, because that's what brings you joy, and I think it's really cool movement in the world, and like how people receive entertainment, particularly online. Once you've written that down, because you got to know where you're going, otherwise, you know, just anything will take you anywhere, and now you're just, what are you doing? 2 is immerse yourself in that world. So read every book you can find and every article online that you can find about your desired industry, how to get into that industry, what every single person does in that industry, how things work. And I'll tell you, you know, when I first got into kind of media, entertainment, technology, one of the first days, my manager said to me, it was actually my internship, and I hadn't watched some TV show, and they're like, you need to go home right now and watch this show, because this is like a mega part of entertainment that everyone's talking about. And like, every day you need to know what is happening, what is hot, what is not, what is trending, what is emerging. You need to figure it out, because in order to win in this, it's all about staying current. So like immersing yourself in that world is really important. Otherwise, it's maybe just a passion or like a hobby, but it's not something that you really want to make your career. And to really thrive in your career, you need to know what you're talking about all the time. You need to become an expert at what you do. And that is what I did, right? When I was interviewing for a job in this industry, I literally read everything on The Hollywood Reporter, Deadline, every platform, every online personality and creator. Like, what are they making? What is trending? What are the content trends? What are the video trends? You need to know what is happening in order for you to have an informed opinion. Otherwise, you know, it's really hard for people to understand why you do one thing, but you want to work in this new world. So you got to own your story and then start taking action. You need to network, network, network. And I think this is something that people say all the time, and it's almost like a catchphrase that it's kind of meaningless at this point, but you need to meet every single person that you can from that industry. So whether that is going to networking events, it's called Google, look it up. Literally write down the thing, conference or events for blank, your industry, and go to anything you can. A lot of things are free, a lot of things you have to pay. Sometimes you got to invest in yourself. What do you call it? Spend money to make money, baby. And then two, you know, there's LinkedIn, there's resources. Cold call email can be a little rough. I think you have to be clear about what you want. Like a good email or DM on LinkedIn or anywhere, because I get a lot of them, is, hi, my name is, so like say who you are and what you do, so the context and what you want. Don't overwrite too much, just like what you want, not about like, I just want this from you, but how can this person that you're reaching out help you do something? Because people are just really skimming for context and what do I need to do with this message? So like being really crisp and to the point is really important. And three, try to find people you can work with to add value. So for me, anytime I could like make a video or help people understand the industry, I would, whether that is a friend, a small business, you know, where I used to live, or even at my old job, you know, I would present everything as video. I was that person that would, you know, give an assignment, I'd be like, here's my video for it. They'll be like, who asked for a video? I'm like, well, this is what I do. This is how I present myself, which is for some people a little extra, but it also allowed me to kind of show what I do. So again, back to networking, I digress. It is find every event you can go to, meet other people, see how you can add value. Feel free to send like a cold email or DM, but make sure it's targeted, because people get a lot of emails these days and they're just skimming through. Just skimming through, and you need to give people a reason to stop and know what to do. Go for it. I think the number one thing that lets people down in their journey to trying to do pivots is that they give up, right? You have to keep going. Do not give up. So whether it's applying for that job, you know, starting a new project, if it's your own project, maybe it's not a new job that you're trying to get, maybe it's starting your online business or whatever it is. You must start and you must keep going, and you must then, in order to really take it to the next level, be okay to taking feedback. So get feedback from people about, you know, what you're trying. So if it's that job and you don't get it, ask them why you didn't get it. If it's that project is not working, ask your prospective customers or friends, why do you think this is not working? Take that feedback and iterate forward. I think where people go wrong is that they don't want to take the action, or if they do, they give up too easily. The secret is don't give up, take the feedback as to why it's not working, make the appropriate switch, and then try again. And eventually it will work out, but you must believe that it'll work out. So those are my tips on how to make pivots. I know a lot of it seems like pretty generic, but that's how you do it, because you don't have the experience from that industry. All you can have is one, a vision, two, meet everyone you can, and three, take action in the ways that I mentioned before. And over time, all that will come together and it'll work. But if you keep it in your mind, I just don't know how it's gonna work. I just don't know. You tell me. So there you go. Those are my tips, and that's kind of how I kind of pivoted careers, a little bit of my journey and the tips and tricks of what I did that I think you can take away. And I wanted to keep it casual and light, because that's kind of the energy that I want for this channel. I don't want too much intensity. And with that, don't forget to own your life and take action. Here are more videos for you to watch. Make sure you click one of those. You got enough time. We are indoors these days. And don't forget to wash your hands in these quarantine times. Peace out, y'all. Oh, and subscribe.